All right, logarithms. Logarithms, the only reason that we have logarithms is because of exponentials. Logarithms are inverses of exponentials. Okay, and that is the only reason we have them, is so that we can solve exponential equations. So in a case like if we get like 2 to the x equals 10, well, up until this point we do not have a way to solve for x, because x is not an integer value, so we'd have to sit there and plug in a bunch of numbers. However, logarithms give us a way of doing that. It is the inverse of this, so we can rewrite it as log base 2 of 10 equals x, and that would allow us to solve it. So that's the beginnings of logarithms. Now the question is, how do we go from here to here so that we can solve it, and then how do we solve that? So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. So let's start off with a basic problem. B to the y equals x. All right, so we have a base to the y equals x. The way that we're going to rewrite this as a logarithm, log base b, so the bases stay the same, the bases never change, of x equals y. So now once we use something from this side, we can't use anything else from this side, so we rewrite it. So the way that I like to think of this is can only use one thing from each side. Can't use two things from one side. So we use the base, so we couldn't use the y, so we have to use the x. All right, and this goes back and forth. If we have given a logarithm form, the base stays the same to the y equals x. All right, so let me give you a concrete example here. Let's say 5 squared equals 25, and I'm asked to rewrite that as a log. So the way that I rewrite that as a log is log base, the base stays the same, so 5. Can't use two things from the same side, so we have to go to the other side. 25 equals 2. All right. Another one, let's say we have 3 to the x equals 81. So the way that we're going to rewrite this as a log is log base 3, bases stay the same, of, can't use two things to the same side, 81 equals x. All right, now let me give you two problems that you can practice real quick. So that'll be practice 1, then practice problem number 2. All right, so do me a favor, go ahead and rewrite those as logarithms, please. Hit pause and rewrite them. All right, I hope you've done the practice problem. Now we have log base 4. Can't use two things of the same side, so x equals 2. And then down here, the base is going to be x, so log base x. Can't use two things from the same side, so 32 equals 5. All right, now let's go the other way. So let's say we have log of 4x equals 2. So we're asked to rewrite that as an exponential. The base stays the same, so the base is going to be 4. Can't use two things from the same side, so that means I can't use the x, so I have to use the 2 equals x. Okay, give you a couple of practice problems with that. So try those two problems out real quick for me. Just rewrite them. All right, hopefully you've done that. So base stays the same, so 2. Can't use two things from the same side, so x equals 32. And then over here, base is 5. Can't use two things from the same side, so 125 equals x. So that wraps up our video on the basics of logarithms and rewriting logarithms as exponentials and exponentials as logs.